Hello, I'm Memphis Mayor Paul Young. As you know, music is always happening in our city. Not sometimes, but 365 days a year. From blues to hip-hop, soul to indie rock, from church choirs to DJ sets, Memphis is home to it all. We launched Memphis Music Live 365 to celebrate the creatives, venues, and the culture makers who fuel the live music industry in our city. Check out this month's Music Moment.
Hey, I'm Elizabeth Cawein. I am the founder and executive director of Music Export Memphis. We are a nonprofit export office for Memphis music. That means we create opportunities for artists who live here in Memphis to do what they do all over the world, to showcase, to tour. We support them with grants, merchandise, publicity, marketing, and we have been around for 10 years as of this year.
My name is IMAKEMADBEATS. I'm an artist, founder, and CEO of Unapologetic, also head engineer and owner of Outer Space, which is where we are right now.
Okay, so this is a conversation we've had a lot. Where are Memphis artists thriving, shining right now?
Yeah, Memphis artists are thriving and shining in the ways they've always thrived and shine. I think it's just a new era. So we have artists willing to go independent, willing to do things on their own, willing to create their own ecosystems. I think that's where I'm most proud of where Memphis is right now, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about independent artists. It's about independent collectives now, right? People building actual teams and building strategic partnerships with other teams to really build in the community and take their message national to international.
Yeah, the collaboration is so essential. Yeah. And I feel like the piece that you and I have come back to over the years in our conversations is this, it's part of the unapologetic story, a really essential element. It's part of the Music Export Memphis story, but it's this innovation. And, it's something that I push back on a lot of times when I talk to people who will be like, well, Memphis doesn't have any music industry infrastructure, which is like a catchphrase that crawls up inside my skin. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, we have infrastructure. You're not looking in the right places and you're not looking in the right way, right?
People be doing the snaps, right?
Yeah, so yes, because it's like, we're building solutions to problems and we're doing it in different ways, right? To your point, we're building new and different ecosystems.
I'll say this, I think that's the crux, that's the heart of where I'm most proud, is I think creatives are recognizing their creativity isn't just in a song.
Yes.
Right. It's in solving problems, solving their own problems.
Yeah.
And then therefore solving community problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. A year from now, right? Or 5 years from now, however much time, right? What is a growth in the Memphis music scene that you would be most proud of that you see on the way?
I think I'm going to have two answers, but they're very connected to me. I think it's resourcing and it's professionalization, right? I think I see this in a lot of, frankly, our live music spaces. They need more resources, and I'm going to not be coded. It's money, right? We need more investment, but we need this level of professionalization that can better train our own independent artists, right? Because we talked about that piece of they need to be ready to go out and compete on the national and international stage. And that's just real, right? That's not a Memphis specific problem. It's making a living in music. You're going to have to build audience outside your city. And if we don't have professional spaces for them to come up in, and I'm talking about, that's artists, but that's also sound engineers, right? Like it's all these people. If they don't have professional spaces to come up in, they're not going to get those tools. And if we don't have professional spaces to welcome touring artists, they're not going to come back here. And both of those things are levers that either cause or stop money from flowing into the ecosystem. Because if you have a professional show of an independent artist, of a national touring artist, and it takes time, right? But if the expectation is when I go to see a show and this is the level that it's at, for me as a fan experience, I'm gonna come put more money into that. And there's more resources flowing in. And then, that professionalization creates that export readiness that we're looking for. But I think that's it for me. I want to see more funding flowing in. I want to see people who want to spend more of their money, right, in live music because they're consistently having that really top tier experience. Yeah,
I think, my very first intern at Unapologetic is now a playback engineer for Miss Lauryn Hill, right? And so I watched him have to learn something that he could not find how to learn here, right? And now he was at Dave Chappelle's thing where she performed. He's overseas all the time, right? But I watched him not have local resources
Yeah.
and have to just figure it out on his own, right? And I think there's been a historic narrative around that, like celebrating
Yes.
that whole like, wow, he just did it on his own, right?
Oh, we
but
love
that is anomalous, right?
Yes.
That is anomalous, and that is not a sustainable.
It's
that
not
is
a
not
strategy.
it's not a strategy at all.
Right.
To just hope.
Right.
And random amazing things happen, that roses can grow through concrete. That's not how you start a garden.
No.
Right. And so for me, when I think about what happens a year to 5 years from now, I think, honestly, I honestly think this might be the best thing to happen to Memphis, is if we can create a sustainable middle class for musicians.
Oh,
and artists,
absolutely.
right? Everybody can't be Gorilla, and everybody can't have a child making $19,000 a year.
Nope.
Right? And so it's to have people like myself, right, who have somehow found a way to normalize I make mad beats.
Yeah.
Right? Like I should be a usual thing. I should not be an unusual thing, where, you know, what I've built or however I've found my creative path, I found ways to actualize that and actually continue platforming and building for other artists in the city. I think that needs to become a very normal thing. I look forward to it. I see the seeds of that happening.
Yeah.
We just need a little bit more resources, right? And then I'll end by saying this. One thing that I look forward to seeing as a product, actually, I don't know, this might be a chicken or the egg scenario. I'm not sure if this is a product or a catalyst, right? Is that we can have resourced venues, resourced learning opportunities, right? But all of that, like, it's only catalyzed through extreme creativity, right? So those two things have to meet, right? Like I've seen in the 10 to 12 years I've been doing this, I've seen, you know, amazing stages get underused. And then I've seen stages that ain't even staged, right? Be met with an amazingly creative person, and it just takes everything to the next level, right? So I do think there's a two-pronged approach to this, right? Let's figure out who we are as people and then explore that through artistry and be daring and bold enough to do that on stage when we get these crazy stages.
Yeah.
And then that's how things land internationally easily.
Yeah. What do people not know about artists in the city? I'm going to tell you what I think, because honestly, this is to me a little bit of like a mission statement. Like, people don't know how deep the bench is. And I think something that I think about every day in my work is, until the average person knows that there is a rich contemporary thing happening here. Like I started to say scene, and then that's not it, because it's scenes, right? Until the average person knows, and they don't usually know at all, but like, you know, the average person in some cities, because of some of the bigger strategies that have happened, would be like, well, I know our city is producing music. I may not be deep in it. That's what I'm looking for, because people don't know these artists. You know, the fact is, I'm so deep in it, and I discover a new artist. I'm talking about literally every week, sometimes multiple times a week. I'm discovering new artists and new bands. And that's what I wish everybody knew, is that the talent is just immense, and it's deep, and it's vast, like genre-wise, right? It's all over the place.
I mean, make sure I get the goosebumps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I couldn't agree more. I'll just tell a quick story, because I'm a storyteller. You know, I started Unapologetic in 2015, and you know, it felt like, I think a lot of people, particularly when I started to say that I wanted to start a label here that was about like being different, being unusual, being bold, right? And it's specifically not fitting into what people would historically say, you know, is the Memphis rap sound, right? What they don't know is that I had a whole bunch of market research. See, I'm a producer engineer. I'd worked with hundreds of artists on the ground here.
Right.
And hundreds of artists had come to me and said this, yo, bro, like, I just feel like my stuff is different. Like, I don't really fit into no genre, bro, you know? And I also just feel like there's no people here in Memphis that would appreciate this, so I gotta move to Atlanta or LA. And I just remember about like 2013 or 14, I was like, right, hundreds of people feel like this. Your crowd is here, right? Y'all just don't know each other exist, right? And so this is why we need spaces. This is why we need organization and structure around getting these people together, because they just didn't know that they existed. You know, I think the thing that I would want people to know about what happens here in this music scene is how much of Memphis music does not fit into any genre. It fits in the spaces in between the genres.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we're so innovative, right? When you have to be daring and bold to fit in between the genres, right? I love that. I love that. And and it's my favorite part. This is my favorite part. I love that people aren't fitting in to these lanes and they don't care.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to change things. It's going to take a boldness and a daringness to be different. And I love to see it. I'm just really quick. I'm gonna say this one last thing. In 2016, I sent a text message to all of my favorite lyricists in Memphis on one big ass group, and one big group text. I sent a text message. I said, yo, every major music city in the United States, when it comes to rap, they have a hardcore gangster side, and then they have another side, right? Memphis internationally at the highest level still doesn't have that other side, right? And when that happens, it's gonna go insane. So be ready, because if it's you, great. But if it's not you, they're gonna be looking for more people like that.
Oh my God, absolutely.
That's what I want. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's amazing. And I just wanted to say, like, not fitting in the lane, that's what makes Memphis special in a lot of ways. And that's why, it's another reason why I push back on the, like, there's no music industry infrastructure here, because I'm like, okay, if you live in a city that has big industry, they're looking for the lane.
Yeah.
They're in the lane, right? And they want you to be in the lane. You don't have to be in the lane here. Let's make our own lane. Let's build our own. Where we're going, we don't need roads, right? Let's build our own. And you can do that. And yes, sometimes, is that a challenge? Is that a con? Sure. But from a creative perspective, from a musicality perspective, like, you can go anywhere you want to go.
Fam, for two things. Number one, at least once a week, I make a U-turn just to say, where we're going, we don't need roads. You got to pause before you say roads.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Next time.
It's all good. But that's one thing that I noticed about Memphis. And honestly, that's the Memphis in me, top 5 Memphis thing about me that I love, is that I'm a builder, right? I don't see a vacant lot as a problem. I see it as an opportunity. I see problems as an opportunity to exercise my creativity to solve problems, right? And I get excited about that. Like, I get this dopamine starts flowing through my veins, when I see that. And I think that I don't attribute that uniquely to me. I think that's a Memphis thing.
Yeah.
That's a gift that Memphis gave me, and I look forward to how that shows up.
That's a gift Memphis brought out of you that was in you already.
As you can see, live music opportunities are happening every day and all around the city. Be sure to check out Memphis's world-class music scene this month. And on behalf of the entire city of Memphis, we look forward to seeing you at a live music venue soon.